Hi there everyone, it's Bren here, and for this week's garden update, it's just as new to me as it is to you because my family and I spent a few days away on holidays down the coast. It's school holidays here for the kids, and my husband was able to get a few days off work. So we have been away, and we arrived home last night, and I was just like blown away by the amount of new things in the garden. Like some of the trees that were only budding before we left are now covered in leaves, and the apple trees have loads of blooms on them. There's lots more flowers everywhere. The garden looks very different, so I want to go and show you around a little bit. I won't get as much into this video as I was hoping, because I really want to get it put together and ready for tomorrow, which is when you're watching this, hopefully on Friday. But next week I may do a bit of a longer video and do a garden harvest as well. But for the moment, let me just show you around as much as I can, and we'll take a look at the changes. So let's get straight into the video now. So down here by the side garden, you can see there, that's my neighbour's tree, and before I went away there were hardly any leaves on it, and look at it now, it's covered in leaves. Another thing I noticed when I came back was I had a lot of oranges on the ground, and I was a bit worried that they were half eaten by cockatoos that knocked them off, but actually in fact they seem to be perfectly fine. I just need to get out here when I get a bit more energy and collect them all. I think it may be just this tree's way of, you know, removing its fruit from last year, because it's starting to bloom and develop fruit for this growing season. And if we have a look in here, there we go, there's some small little oranges developing. Okay, and if we come down the back, one thing I did before I went away was I deadheaded a lot of my flowers, particularly all the calendula flowers that you see there, all those orange and yellow flowers. I cut them all off, and when I came back there was a whole fresh bloom of them. I also cut off a lot of sweet peas as well, and I'm just so glad I did that, because I came back to even more lovely flowers. And I've just spotted something in amongst the poppies that looks a bit different. Let me go and take a closer look. I've just gone around the other side. Look over here, it's a different type of poppy. Oh, can I reach it? How beautiful is that? So these peony poppies that I got here that I sowed were from my friend, and maybe some other seeds got mixed up, but what a beautiful surprise. I don't even know the name of this one, but how pretty are those petals. So I'm back over the other side now, because there's a few more things in here that I'd love to show you. One of the jobs I need to do is tie up these sweet peas, because they're starting to cover my foxgloves, and in a few minutes I want to show you my very first foxglove flowering this season. I noticed it around the front. I'll go and show you that soon, but before then we'll take a bit more of a look around here. So you can see I've got lots of spring onions popping up there, lots of calendula, Johnny Jump violas, and down here I'm very excited about these, because these are some Australian native plants that I've grown from seed. These are the blue Rottnest daisies. I managed to get 3 in here. One of them's kind of been swamped a bit by these Johnny Jump violas. Where is it? There it is. I'll have to maybe trim that back a bit. But how exciting is that? I cannot wait to see them flowering. And you can see there that the blue Dutch irises, or purple Dutch irises, are nearly finished blooming. But as they finish, the sweet peas are starting to come on now. These are a Grandiflora mix, and the smell is so lovely here. I just love all the nice bright colours. And a few other plants to have a look at down here are this one here. It's a cottage garden favourite, a Cerinthe major. I sowed a lot of what you see here in autumn time, And if you just have a bit of patience, the amount of flowers that you're rewarded with is amazing. And this one, I only discovered this plant last year when my friend gave me a bouquet of flowers from her garden. This one is a tricolour salvia, and isn't it just stunning? I love the purple on the leaves, and you can also get them with pink leaves as well. And there's a ranunculus there, ranunculus, I never say the right name. And I've got my chards starting to go to flower, which I'll just let them do their own thing. So yeah, it was nice to come back to see the garden looking so colourful. Okay, so back over here by this arch that I made, let's take a look down here. So I do need to do a bit more deadheading, but the good thing is, because I deadheaded these flowers before I went away, and now I'm rewarded with this lovely fresh flush. And over here I'm really enjoying this little area at the moment with the bee bath. I'll probably come out tomorrow now and fill that up with some more water. And you can see there I've got more poppies in here as well, and the chickens are there down the back. My friends are so nice, like helping me out, watering my plants and looking after our lovely little chickens. So another plant that I noticed that was flowering were these here. These are some more poppies, apple blossom I believe. I think they're Californian poppy, but they're closed up at the moment because it's in shade. I'll try and maybe take a video of them next week. There's the other gate that I put in. And the cardoon plant down here has really grown lots. So when I was away one day, we had like some nice steady rain, and you can see there that cardoon plant is quite large, and hopefully I'll get some flowers out of this year. Last year it didn't grow that much, but I think it does take a while for them to establish. And you notice there I've got lots of lemons on the ground as well. I think similar situation. Maybe it was windy and maybe the wind knocked them off and it was gone, but they haven't been damaged by any birds, so I'll have to go and gather all of them up. But let's head over now over to the raised bed area. Okay, so here we have the raised beds up here. Before we go and take a look in this section of the garden, I wanted to show you 3 purchases that I made when I was away. I found this really great independent garden centre down the coast in Mogo. I'll put the name up on the screen, and every time I go in there, if you do a bit of digging around, you can find some really nice plants. This one here is the common evening primrose, which I find quite difficult to get here in Australia, so I was delighted when I found that. And this is a Rebecca. I've lost the tag, I don't know how I did that. But this one, the cones remain kind of a browny black colour. If I can find the name, I'll pop it up on the screen. But when I googled it, oh, just so striking, really unusual. And this is a lobelia. It's a carnival, and look at the colour of the foliage. I love that dark foliage colour. It's a really nice contrast in the garden. And these actually have this one has red flower spikes, which isn't something I would normally go for, but I did decide on buying this one, something a bit different. They did have purple flowers, but I bought that one instead. So let's go and have a little walk around the raised bed area. So you can see there's lots more sweet peas out on this archway, and these are flowers from a rocket, just letting it do its own thing. And if you come in here, there's so much colour at the moment. I really need to get on top of, you know, reorganising this section for summertime. But at the moment, I'm just really enjoying how it's starting to fill out and all the beautiful colours. And I also spotted a few ladybugs around the place as well, and it's always nice to see them because I do also have a lot of aphids, and having those ladybugs around really helps keep them under control. And you know something I noticed over here, I believe it may be this plant here, may be an eggplant that I had put in last year and it didn't really do much, and now it's starting to put on a bit of growth. I'll keep an eye on that. Yeah, so I've got a few things to harvest. I've got some cabbages and broccoli, purple sprouting broccoli, and you can see over this way, when I was away, I moved all of my potted colour into one section, which is just up here, and a lot of my bigger seedlings, and my friends came and watered these every couple of days, so I need to rearrange them now and move them out to the garden. But look what else is happening. All of my hippeastrums that are here, these gorgeous red flowers, are starting to bud up as well, and it won't be long for them. I reckon in a couple of weeks that will be just a sea of these beautiful large blooms. So next up, I want to head over to the front garden, and we'll take a look at a few things that's happening in there. So let's head over there now. Oh, do you know, I don't know how I forgot this. Look, I wanted to show you this too. This is one of my apple trees, and you can see that there's lots of blooms on them now, which is really exciting. Not as many as there were last year. It may have something to do with the fact that I gave it a big harsh cutback, but nonetheless there's still some flowers, and that's pretty exciting to see. Okay, and we'll pass by this area, which is absolutely covered in borage and other flowers everywhere, and you can see there, that's where I had all my potted colour, which I moved. I'll move all of them back. I also moved all of my seedlings. Some of them I actually just brought to my friend's house, and she looked after them for me. So we'll go around the front now and have a look at those seedlings, and I'll show you some other plants that are in flower as well. I might end up staking up that Pride of Mandaria, because you can see there that it's starting to flop over with the weight of the flowers. If you come down this way, here's some of my seedlings. So this tray here is full of tomatoes, which really need to be potted up, but there's a large selection there. I'll have to get on top of them. I've got so many jobs to do, my goodness. And I have a mixture of flowers here too, lots of cosmos, sunflowers, nasturtiums, what else, paper daisies, and down here I've got more tomatoes here as well. Lots of tomatoes, and I really need to get that area down the back sorted out for them, and some different types of calendula as well. Here I've got sea holly, carnations, borage, white borage, more native flowers, soapwort, lots of different plants in here, some eggplants as well, so they're all going to keep me very busy. I just love this little section of the garden where you have the bearded irises and Japanese irises there, valerium, some chard that's going to flower. But look what else is in here. Over here beside my Anthony Parker salvia is my very first foxglove. So I have these white ones here in this section, and then in other parts of the garden I have apricot and strawberry. And down here in the large garden bed down the front, I've got lots more evening primrose flowers opening up. Beside the catmint, more dianthus, and over here more pincushion flowers. It's just all happening all of a sudden. And then lots of pig face, they kind of close up a bit in the evening time. And I'm finishing off this week's video with this absolute beautiful Australian native bottle brush that I planted about 2 years ago now, and every year I'm rewarded with more and more gorgeous flowers. And it was just a joy to see these when we pulled into the driveway, because last week there wasn't one of them in bloom, and now they're absolutely covered in these beautiful flowers. Well, thank you so much for watching this week's video, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all again next Friday.